Hey everybody, the Howard Cheney here, along with Blake Gibson. Joseph Hughes will be joining us here shortly, but Blake Gibson, thanks for joining us tonight. Tell us a little bit about yourself, real quick.
Well, I've been doing this for almost 4 years. I've been around professional wrestling my whole life. I'm a second generation wrestler with both my mom and dad being in the business. Uh, I've had a fun career so far, I would say. When you look at it from the perspective of the companies I've worked for, uh, I had a major storyline with my brother in one. I've been able to wrestle EC3 for the NWA World Heavyweight Champion last summer. Uh, I'm trying to think of like major points there, but I've been wanting to wrestle since I was a little kid. Always watching the big WrestleMania matches, just watching Raw and SmackDown every week. My major motivation for why I wrestle is for the sole purpose of fulfilling my promise to my dad, which when my dad passed away in September of 2018, I sat there and really thought about what I wanted to do with my life that would make my dad proud. And when I walked up to his casket before we had friends and relatives come in, I sat there and I looked at my dad and told him that I would make two promises to him. That the first one being every company I step foot into, I will make sure they will see my worth and I will be a champion in it. And the second one is that I'm going to eventually make it, whether that's in New Japan, TNA, WWE, AEW, NWA, any of the what you would call the big leagues. But yeah, that's a little small bit of what I'm about.
You mentioned off air and just a second ago about your dad passing in 2018. You was telling me that your mother was a wrestler as well. Your brother's a wrestler, so it's like a whole family. The whole Gibson family is in the wrestling business.
Yeah, so my brother Chance, uh he wrestles locally, so like he wrestles in my hometown. My older, well, older brother, Austin, he doesn't really wrestle anymore. But when before we moved to Florida, my brother got to tag with my dad, got to get trained by my dad. So he got a lot more of the things that I wish I could have done. But being at the age I was, I obviously couldn't step into the ring. But he's not as active in the ring anymore. I'm in the talks of hopefully being able to bring him back. But we've all of us have been wrestlers. So you got my two older brothers that have been wrestling. I've been wrestling. My sister, she isn't a wrestler yet, but she's training to be. She currently at the moment just goes out and valets for people. But yeah, the whole family's all into the wrestling business.
Well, that's awesome. When y'all get together as a family, do y'all sit around and talk about wrestling, or what do y'all actually talk about?
Well, most of the time we just go off of like what we're doing in our personal lives and stuff. We just sit there and bond. If wrestling pops up, we'll talk about it. But like when it really comes to talking about wrestling, that's between me and my little sister, because she's always sitting there boosting me, motivating me to keep going, always trying to keep me in high spirits to not let any self doubt get on me, because I do get uh, in my head a lot and doubt myself. Like the weekend, well, not the weekend, I should say the week of, when we had EC3 down for seminars for SOM, I was under the impression, I was like, this man's not going to pick me for his match. I'm skinny. You got all these people that are in better shape than me, actually have the build that they need to have. I was under the complete mindset that just because of the way I look, because of how everybody else discriminates the way I look, that I didn't stand a chance of being able to say I'm going to have a match with EC3. She constantly pushed me and kept saying, you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself. Well, when the day finally came for EC3 to pick somebody from the seminar to verse him, he picked 3 people. It was me and a tag team. Since he couldn't pick, he left it to the fans to pick. So that then led into a promo of us 3 having to convince the fans on why we should verse EC3. And as it can clearly be known, I was able to convince the crowd to pick me, and I got the challenge EC3 for that NWA World Heavyweight Championship, which is a very pretty title when you actually get to see it up close instead of through a screen. I never realized how pretty that title was until it was right in front of me.
Talking about how pretty it is, was you able to touch it? Is it kind of heavy?
Yeah, it holds up to that 10-pound weight it says. I don't think it's 10 pounds. I think it weighs more than 10 pounds, but that's just me. I think it personally weighs more. But yeah, me and my family, we all try our best to stay close and connected, because that's what my dad taught us, is that at the end of the day, when he's not here and when the day comes to where my mom's not here, my family's all I'm going to have. At the end of the day, that's all I'm going to have is my family, which is convenient because this Saturday, all of us are actually getting together to watch the Elimination Chamber. So at the end of the day, wrestling's still bringing us together one way or another.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we go any further, let me ask a quick prediction on Elimination Chamber. Who you think's going to win?
Are you saying the men? I'm assuming you're going
Yeah,
off
the
the men.
men's. Yeah.
So before I try giving my guess, I do want to state something that I'm very happy with. Big old Triple H doing was making us have to constantly guess, because you don't. Oh, there's Joseph. Hi, Joseph. But you don't know who's going to win, because there's so many people that are set up to win the Elimination Chamber. But if I personally had to pick who I think is going to win, I personally kind of feel like Punk might win it. I personally feel that Punk might win it. Now, if you ask me who I want to win, I think I stand with everybody else saying I want John Cena to win.
John Cena for the last ride, huh? So
I think he's earned it. I feel like he's personally earned it.
absolutely. We'll bring Joseph in
no
just
sound. No sound.
No sound.
Oh, we can hear you.
No sound.
We can hear you, but no sound. Settings. Studio. Maybe. Well, I can't tell them to log out and log back in because they can't hear us. Let me try this real quick. While we're trying to get Joseph back on, you said EC3. You was one of the picks that he picked. You in a tag team. Why do you feel like he picked you to have that match?
So when he first picked me, I wasn't quite sure. I didn't quite get I didn't quite grasp why he was picking me out of everybody else there was. But during the seminar, there was Kinsey. No, it wasn't Ken. It was Kinsey and EC3. Kinsey Page and EC3 in the locker room with half the people that showed up to the seminar to cut promos, to sell yourself on why you should verse EC3. And then in the ring was Ricky Morton working with everybody to kind of perfect their craft, understand didn't mean to hit my phone. Try to understand where they're coming from, where they're at in wrestling. So when I went in there for the promo ordeal, I sat there and I kept watching people go up before me, and I kept wondering, like, what am I going to say? What can I say? And when the time finally came, I stood up there. I looked at a mirror in the back wall, and stared at that first. And once I had the confidence to where I was in the zone, I made eye contact with EC3 and cut the rest of that promo on him. And after our match and stuff, I went back and asked him, I was like, can I ask what made you choose me out of everybody else there could have been? And he said the promo was definitely the icing on top of it. He definitely felt the promo that I delivered to him. And that's what got him to pick me.
Awesome. Joseph, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you. I'm so sorry I had some problems getting my microphone and the sound working, and I'm a little bit late today. But Blade, I know you from Mayhem at the School of Morton. I also know you from some other places like Beside the Ring and some places there. And man, you've had just such a great career in such a short period of time. I think one question I'd like to ask you is, who so far has been your favorite opponent to face?
Now you gotta make me pick between. That one's a legitimate hard question because there's been so many people. I mean, I feel like I've had really good matches with James Anthony. I've had good matches with my brother, Josh Anderson. I've had great matches with him. But if I had to say favorite person, I'm gonna hate the fact I'm giving this away, and I know he's probably gonna sit there and boost his ego higher than it already is. But if I gotta say somebody that's been my funnest to work, is definitely probably Evan Golden.
Really, you like the Golden job?
I really hate to admit that because I know it's gonna make his head swell up to the size of Mars, but Evan Golden is definitely one of the people I would see as my favorite person to go in against, because when we had our first match at Beside the Ring, it was just a click. We just clicked. Everything was so fluent. Every time we get in the ring, it's just so fluent. So I gotta give it to Evan.
You know the founder of RiverCity-Media is the president of the Evan Golden fan club.
Oh my God, he's more than just the president of the Evan Golden fan club. He is the entire fan club.
You know what? That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And it'll probably remain that way for a long while.
So being able to get in the ring with your brother, how does that work out? Do you enjoy being in there with him?
I enjoyed the idea of what we were doing, but like looking back at it now, I enjoyed it. But going through the timestamp of what we were going through wasn't necessarily the most enjoyable, considering that during that time, my brother was just on this absolute mad streak of doing the most diabolical things. And I could go into the whole long list of it, but like looking back on it now, it was fun. It was great, but everything that was happening towards that point is kind of really crazy at the fact that me and him are a tag team right now. Because most people, when you hear the backstory of what Chance did and all the people he hurt and the just absurd amount of, like, fireballing our cousin, Kacherico, our uncle, it was just, that's just like a bare minimum of stuff I'm going to list. But there was a lot of things that he did in that time period that was very hectic and crazy. But looking back on it now, like, I enjoyed it. I think our matches looked good. The fans were interested. Like, when I go back and listen to them, I can hear the fans still being invested in the matches. So I at least feel like we achieved something to where the fans weren't being bored. And that's kind of what you want when you're in this business. You don't want to bore the fans.
Was it bragging rights when you got home that night?
Well, me and my brother went more than just once. Because the whole reason why we were going after each other, well, the whole reason why he came after me was because my very first match was against my brother Austin. After the match was over, I went to go head in the back. I was heading back to the back, but he called me back outside, or back to the ring, and he handed me my dad's boots. So in a sense, that's kind of like passing the torch. But I'm the youngest of my brothers, so when Chance found out about that, he made it a point to attack me, and it was all about the legacy rights of carrying on my dad's legacy in a sense.
And
And we had our normal one-on-one match to where he was under a mask. I didn't know it was him at first. Then we went on to a street fight, and then the quote-unquote big match was me and him in a ladder match for my dad's boots, which ended with me being a bloody mess. And then we came back one more time after that for a title versus title. So we've had in total 4 matches.
and what a big legacy your dad has left for all of you to fill in and be there. And speaking of leaving a legacy, you had a chance, and I'm not going to say this lightly, but you still have the chance to become the world heavyweight champion at SOM. What would it mean for you to gain that title?
I've had a lot, I mean, a very lot of thought put into how much it would mean, considering that mom and dad both can't practically trained by the Rock and Roll Express. Ricky's always been believing in me and wanting me to come to his school. All these people in the almost 4 years of me doing this that have constantly pushed me, told me that I can do it, and told me to constantly keep working at my craft. To win the SOM title to me, it would be proving, one, that it didn't matter. It never mattered about my size. What mattered was the amount of fight I have in me. And that, two, no matter if you like me or you hated me, I proved that I can be the guy. I can be the face of the company and not sit there and be dwindled on it, be frowned upon. That's the word. Be frowned upon for my size, because just because of how I look means that I shouldn't be the heavyweight champion. So to me, winning the SOM title is not just a boost in motivation, but it's a boost in confidence in the fact of I proved everybody why I deserve to be in this business. That regardless of all the obstacles, all the hard times that I've had to go through, I proved that I deserve to be in this business.
Well, you have proven that you deserve to be in the business, whether you have the title or not. But you've had a year-long feud and a year-long run that's been going for trying to get to that title. Take us back and tell us all about it.
So it all starts back in the summer of 2023. It wasn't at a SOM, it wasn't at the Chucky Dome, but it was at a outside event called CJ's Sports Bar in Kingsport. And at the time, James Anthony was the SOM champion. It wasn't for the title, but I versed him in the main event of that, and I was able to beat him, which was starting to put me in the line for the SOM title. So as I kept pursuing and pursuing, it led into me being in a tag match with the current number 1 contender at that time, Nathan Cross. When I pinned James Anthony, it showed that I could be in the title match. So a few weeks later, it boils down to it becoming a triple threat. Me versus James Anthony versus Nathan Cross for the SOM title in a street fight. I go through the match. I try to hit the perfect shot. James moves out the way, grabs the SOM title, clocks me with it. Nathan Cross had the brass knucks that James was always using and clocked him with it. James falls on top of me, and he gets the 3 count because Nathan Cross is getting pulled by James Anthony's manager at the time. So then, as time goes on, I go and earn another shot for the SOM title after winning the East Tennessee tag titles. I win the title, and I get promised a one-on-one match with James Anthony. And it's supposed to be at Bunkhouse of 2024. James Anthony had some personal stuff come up in December to where he had to take a leave. So instead of it being at the promised one-on-one, it turned into me having to verse the whole SOM locker room and the Bunkhouse Stampede match. I made it down to the final 2 between me and Maverick Price. And this man, Ghost, comes out and eliminates Maverick and then eliminates me as the final 2. And everybody in the Bunkhouse Stampede starts the match. And he wasn't even in the start of the match and somehow was allowed to come in and steal the title from me. A few weeks later, Ghost reveals himself to be none other than Draco, which is the man that costed me the East Tennessee tag titles. So me and him had this back and forth battle for weeks leading up to the Paul Morton Cup of 2024, to where it led to a last man standing match. It was back and forth. I thought I had him beat at one point, and my sister came in to make a save because he was about to Concherico me. And Draco, being the man that he was, sat there and pinned my sister to the ground and held a chair to her neck and said if I got up, he was going to hit my sister with it. So forcefully making me stay down for that 10 count. After that was over, I went on to do my own thing for a minute because I couldn't challenge Draco no more at that time, because he said if I challenged him, he was going to come after my family. So I went back to win the hybrid title for a second time. Went and versus EC3 for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And all the way up until December of this past December, I got screwed out of my hybrid title to where Brandon Moore had it. So
let's talk about that for just a second. See, because a lot of the fans that are watching don't know the drama that took place there. Brandon Moore paid off a ref to give you a fast count so that you would lose that hybrid title. Not on one occasion, but on 2 separate occasions, he did that to make sure that you did not have it. So let's set that up. Where did you start with Brandon Moore? Where does the rivalry start there?
I get it. Me and Brandon have had a lot of back and forth battles over SOM the past 2 years, working on 3 years of me being there. But it all started back when SOM opened their doors back for Fright Night in Newport, the very first show we had in Newport, because we had a match. It was, the crowd was into it. It was back and forth. I came out on top with a perfect shot. He went to go shake my hand afterwards. I go to raise the title, and he hits me with a low blow. So basically, from November 3rd of 2024 is when me and Brandon Moore had our beef started. And from that point onward, all the way up until December, to where he screwed me twice, it was a constant back and forth battle.
And Brandon has recently moved out of the in-ring performance and into the refereeing side. Are you a little bit worried that he's going to be reffing some of your matches, especially with the grudge that he holds against you? Do you think that he will use that to his advantage and your opponent's advantage to make sure that you lose?
Very much so. Very much so. Like if he would pay off a referee so he could win a match, what says he's not going to hold a grudge against me still and just get a fast count on somebody else? I very much believe that Brandon would try screwing me if he had the chance to.
So
And go ahead, Howie.
I'm curious, what has turned him against you? What made all this happen originally?
You know, your guess is as good as mine, but the best thing I could come up with is the fact of Newport is Brandon's hometown. Brandon came out and he got his little ovation. But then when I came out, the crowd was higher for me than they were for him, and I think that left a sour taste in his mouth. So he took that out on me for the fact the crowd wasn't behind him. His hometown wasn't behind him.
And he did it in such a way in the locker room that it left intrigue, like, why is he attacking him over nothing? I mean, it looked like it was absolutely over no reason. He just got jealous and was hateful. I mean, it just was a complete hate crime, basically, the way that he attacked you from behind while you were getting dressed in the locker room.
And then what's funny, that was even at SOM. That was at Rated R Wrestling. I just got done. I think that was the Regal Riot. I can't quite remember the event that it was, but I do remember that I went through a grueling match that night. And right after that match is over, and I'm sitting there getting undressed, he comes out of nowhere and blindsides me. And again, all over what? All over what? Because I was able to win his hometown crowd because I had a title that he couldn't beat me for fair and square. There's a lot of things you could sit here and say for why he did what he did. But I guess the only one that truly knows why he did that is him. Because he still never gave an explanation.
I don't think we'll ever get an explanation from him, to be honest with you, Blade. And really, if we're being honest about the situation, it all stems from jealousy. Jealousy that you got the pop, jealousy that you're following in your father's footsteps, and jealousy that you were able to obtain something that he wanted to have, but he could never get without doing something illegal in order to get it, which we saw. He paid off a ref to fast count you so that he could get the win. In the following week, it was reversed by Scotty B and the management team. We got to see that happen just out. But now you're in a current rivalry going for the World Heavyweight Championship again in SOM with none other than Michael Gabriel. And that's a man that Howie knows very well. He was on here just last week, right, Howie?
About 3 weeks ago, yes. The guiding light.
And see, when Michael Gabriel first came to SOM, I was like his third match at SOM, and not lo and behold, but I beat him in that match. So I guess technically I already had one over on him. And then as we got to Bunkhouse this past month, he got one over on me. This past weekend, I don't know if I would want to sit there and say he really got one up on me when I had him pinned to the mat. Because I'm gonna revert back to the whole SOM title picture real quick. Because you had Brandon screw me out of the hybrid title. We get the Bunkhouse. Brandon had to relinquish the title. I get put in a triple threat match between Santiago and Devon Belcher. I pinned Santiago, but somehow the decision was changed to where apparently Santiago's shoulder was up. Devon clocks me in the back of the head with a chain, and he gets the submission on Santiago. Gosh, I'm blanking out on names. May that thing left some eternal brain damage. But after getting screwed once that night, I get to have a shot at the SOM title. And I had Michael Gabriel beat. And the door's wide open. EC Dangerously, of all people, who was bad-mouthing me on social media for weeks prior to Bunkhouse, opened up the door for me and was telling me to come on. I take 1 foot out from the rope and lean my head out, and he slams the cage on me.
Not once, but 3 separate times he hit you with that door while you were trying to get out. And I don't know what EC Dangerously has against you. A matter of fact, if we were able to actually go back and watch the footage, he comes out with his earpiece saying that he had a reversal and slammed that door 3 different times on you, and then blamed it on what he was hearing in his earpiece. And we know for a fact nobody was talking to him in the earpiece. He took it upon himself to make sure that you did not win that match. Maybe he secretly wants to let it shine. What do you say about that, sir?
If he can let it shine, but it's going to shine with me being SOM champion one way or another. I don't care how long I have to keep doing this. I have all the fight in the world that nobody can take out of me. I will keep going after the SOM title until it's in my hands and around my waist. So you can dream about it being in the light, but the only perfect light you will ever see is me being the SOM champion.
Blade Gibson, you seem like an awful nice individual. Why is everybody mad at you? What have you done to them?
I've tried countless of times. I've tried texting EC Dangerously about what I did that made him so mad. I tried texting Brandon before we got real heated into our scuffle. And I've tried talking to somebody that we're missing out. I tried talking to Prince Malik, because mind you, Prince Malik is the one that was walking around with Brandon and has been the one trying to make sure Brandon had his matches won. And then on top of that, when I was going through the Battle Royal to challenge to get through the gauntlet to challenge for the number one contender of the SOM championship, Prince Malik found it necessary to bring somebody from my past to SOM, with that being Sean Stone. And me and Sean Stone have had countless of encounterments all outside of SOM. At Rated R, at WASP, it's been a constant back and forth battle. Me and him never seem to be able to split away from each other's paths.
And he's back in SOM right now. He actually had a match not last week, but the week before, and he was very, very delicate inside that match. He looked really good inside that match. And it would not surprise me if they're going to use Sean Stone against you in the future. You need to be ready and prepared for it, Blade, because I do think that is on the calling card. You just need to be prepared for it, sir.
I've done this battle with Sean before. By all means, I'm prepared. I know Sean better than he probably knows himself, in all honesty, because that's just how many times we've done this. Because just for a brief history, Sean got into this business by his technically stepdad, which is my uncle, Jamie Gibson. But he went on to try doing things in WASP and wasn't necessarily succeeding at the highest of heights. But he decided to sell out and sell himself to a manager that was promising him championships, which lo and behold, he did win a title, but at WASP. But then at Rated R, while I was sitting here having the longest reigning cruiserweight championship reign in the company's history, I get blindsided during a match versing Sean's brother, and Sean comes out and cashes in his little briefcase to steal my title. So when he ended my title reign, I found it appropriate to interfere in one of his matches at WASP when he had the junior heavyweight title and cost him his title reign. So right now, I guess right now we're at a pretty even playing field. But I guess SOM would be a great place to end the playing field, to finally end and squash what we have going.
I'm going to throw another name out to you that I think you should be looking for, and I think that's Luke Fury. I know that you guys have had a rivalry in the past and a rivalry currently going on, but I believe that he is there at SOM too to do some damage as well, sir. What would you say to that?
Me and Luke Fury have only had, believe it or not, 2 matches. One being at beside the ring in a one-on-one, and one being in a triple threat with Brandon Moore, of all people. So Luke's somebody I can respect. So if he wanted to come get it, by all means, he can come get it. Luke's somebody that's out here making just as much of a name for himself as I'm trying to make a name for myself. So I'm not going to sit here and belittle Luke Fury. I'm not going to sit here and say anything bad about him. The man's great. He's a great talent. He's a great person on the mic. And if Luke wants to go at it, by all means, I'm willing to run it. I'll run it again. I'll run it as many times as Luke wants to run it, because that's how much I respect Luke. If Luke wants to go at it, we'll go at it, because from what I've seen, that's a dance that can be done forever, all over the world even, and people will be intrigued, because that's just how good Luke Fury is. So if Luke Fury wants it, by all means, come get it. I'm ready for it.
It seems like you're ready to fight anywhere, anytime, any place.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what the whole face of perfection is a man that constantly improves, constantly wants to fight people to improve, to elevate himself. Every time he gets in that ring, he's going to improve, and when he leaves it, he's going to be better than when he entered it. That's the whole face of perfection persona. It's not that I'm sitting here saying I'm perfect. I'm sitting here saying I'm on the path of being the perfect wrestler. I'm the face of perfection because nobody's doing it the way I'm doing it, to where you're wanting to constantly improve every single time. Not not after the match. I'm saying during the match, you are constantly evolving. That's my way of looking at wrestling. I want to evolve during the match, not go through the match and then evolve afterwards. I want to evolve before the match, during the match, and after the match, constantly.
That brings up a question, though. See, because there's somebody that's on Mayhem that swears that they're recruiting the best of the best and getting the best of the best. And if that's the case, why hasn't Bronson Garrett Enterprises tried to recruit Blade Gibson?
Well, so that's actually a very simple question, because I don't think Bronson Garrett's looking at actual talent. What he's looking at is more so size. Look at Devon Belcher. And more importantly, let's look at the man that sat here and decided to cost me my SOM title match, Javen Myra. Two very big guys are in shape and probably in most peak condition that I've ever seen two male athletes be at in SOM. But that's not why Bronson wants to get me, because he sat there and told me to retire. So I'm looking at it as either Bronson doesn't want to get me because I'm not the size of the other two, he's jealous of me, or he simply just has some other reason does not like me the way he wants me to retire and be out of the business. So why Bronson Garrett hasn't recruited me, I don't know. But after the events that have happened, even if he tried doing it now, I wouldn't accept it.
Blade, do you think that it does have something to do with the jealousy factor, especially since he's not been able to be in the ring and performing in the ring on the level that we know that he can perform? And do you think he's using the F word, the word that we don't like to say? Do you think he's faking an injury so that he doesn't have to perform?
I mean, it would. I don't want to say that, but personally, it makes sense, because I mean, the last match I remember Bronson Garrett having was against El Scorpio, and he lost. And from the moment the bell actually rung, I'm pretty sure he lost within 15 seconds, which might be the quickest might be the quickest match in all SOM history. I'm not sure. Somebody might have to fact check me on that one. But he lost in 15 seconds to a sunset flip pinfall. He didn't take no big move from El Scorpio. I was watching the match. El Scorpio didn't perform no big stargazing move that would have kept him out of action. So for why he's not in there, that's beyond me. I personally feel like I think he has self-doubt. So if we're going to talk about the jealousy factor, I think he is jealous that I don't have the self-doubt that he has. I'm positive I can go. I'm positive that I can go for a long while. But him, he's at the point to where he doesn't know if he can go. He doesn't know if he can get in the ring and not get hurt. So I think that might be the actual factors, that he's jealous, that he doesn't have the confidence in himself like I have the confidence within me.
Shout out to El Scorpio, by the way, giving that little dance out here.
That man's got amazing hips. That man's got amazing hips.
Do you think the bullseye's on your back because of the confidence that you have in yourself?
It might be. But then I think another reason why other people are kind of upset is for the fact of I'm trying to make sure I keep this PG. I don't want to use words that can't be used. I have busted my rear end off every single time I've stepped in the ring. Whether it's training, an actual match, a seminar, I have constantly gone in there and not giving it 100%, but giving it 200%. I want to give it more than what I'm supposed to. And I think the reason why so many people are looking down on me for that is because I'm taking their opportunities. While you're having to see all these other people take these cheap shortcuts, I'm out here actually showing the crowd and and SOM management why I deserve to be put in the spot, why I deserve to be put in the SOM title spot, why I deserved to be a 2-time hybrid champion, why I deserve to win the East Tennessee tag team titles. It's because I have put the work in as much as possible, and I've not once sat there and said, I'm just going to sit here and put half the effort in, or just put a little bit because I'm not feeling it today. On the days where I don't feel like being in the ring, or the days I'm in the ring the most and want to make sure that my body understands, my mind understands, and my emotions understand that this is what I'm built for. There is no other thing that Blade Gibson is built for other than wrestling. It's not being a technician. It's not being a plumber. It's not working a simple 9 to 5. It is to be in professional wrestling and to be in a professional wrestling ring.
Come on now. Keep it talking.
Well, I think there's a lot
heat
of
coming off my
jealousy,
body
Blade.
from this.
I think there's a lot of jealousy, and I also think people are trying to make their name off of your family's name. I think that's why you have a lot of problems that you have at SOM, at Beside the Ring, all the places that you perform at, is because they know that you come from the lineage of great professional wrestling. They know that you have the work ethic. A lot of people, so ability will get you to the top, right? But it takes character to keep you there. And see, something that comes from your lineage is character and integrity. The character and integrity to perform every night, hurt or not, sick or not, dying or not, being out there each and every time to push yourself to the limit. And I think that that brings a lot of jealousy, and it breeds people who want to make a name for themselves off of your name, your family name, trying to take you out. Is that a fair assessment? Do you think that that's the case?
That's probably the most fairest assessment I've heard anyone try giving me of why everybody does what they do to me. In all honesty, I think that's probably the most accurate and most useful assessment that people could definitely go off of. That's definitely why I'm going to go off of, is the fact of I have that one thing that the person that's coming after me doesn't have, or what most people say is that it factor. I have an it factor that the people that are attacking me, they want that, and they're going to do anything in their power to make sure they have it. So if that means taking me out, then they're going to take me out and take it.
They want the best, so they're coming after the best.
Absolutely, Howie. And I think that that's really the problem that we see and that persists currently with you, Blade, is that they know your training. They know your history. They know your heritage. They know where you've come from. And they don't feel like you've earned it. They think that you're riding the coattails of your name and your legacy. But what they're not seeing is the stuff that you do behind closed doors when nobody else is watching, when you're putting in the time, when you're working in the weight room, when you are making sure that you're running the ropes. And they're not around to see any of this. When you're doing the 666, they're not around to see any of this stuff. But you know what's going on. And that breeds jealousy, because in order to be the best, I learned this a long time ago. I used to play basketball. I played at D1, played at the D1 level. And there was a kid that was in the gym every morning at 3:30 in the morning. We had practice at 5. He was there at 3:30 in the morning. He left that gym after everybody left at 8 o'clock. His first class was at 8:30. He had enough time to shower, change, and get to that class. After that class, he would go back and he would work again. And he would work until his next class at 12. So he was in the gym, and this is 7 days a week. He's doing this 7 days a week. You know where that kid went? He went to the NBA. You know where we went? The rest of us that didn't want to do that, we went and found jobs. That's what happened to us. And so your work ethic makes people jealous because they want what you have, but they're not willing to work to get what you have. And so that says it all for me, Blade. I think that you have hit the nerve and struck the nerve of Bronson Garrett Enterprises. You've struck the nerve of Michael Gabriel. You've struck the nerve of Luke Fury. You've struck the nerve of Mr. Stone. I mean, Sean Stone. You've struck the nerve of all these people. So now what are they going to have to do to get to your level and excel on your level? Well, they lie, they cheat, and they steal. That's the only thing that they can do to be a good heel, baby. And so, you've got to understand that you're in a position right now that very few wrestlers get to be in this business whatsoever. And that is, you have all the power and they have none.
So you blanked out on that last part for me. I'm sorry to say that, but you blanked on that very last part. You said I have what?
All the power and they have none. You have all the power. You're in the position that you need to be in to go as far as you need to go in this business right now, currently. That you have all the power at your feet. You have everything that you need to go to the next level, be at the next level, perform on the next level, be a champion on the next level. Not only that, but you're going to outshine and out excel these people by your work ethic, by everything you're doing currently. So you just keep on, because you're making them so jealous that they have to find a way to beat you that's not legal. That's the best place to be, Blade. Mr. Howie, what would you say to that?
I agree with you 100%. Blade, take his advice and just keep on working hard, do the best you can do, and people's going to keep on coming after you. But as long as you do the right things, good things are going to happen to you, man.
I appreciate that, but the positive part about everybody coming after me, which I know is kind of crazy to be saying there's a positive to people wanting to take you out, is the fact of that keeps the one motto, that keeps the thing going, to where if they want it, they can challenge me for a match for it. I'm gonna step in that ring. You're gonna see me evolve right in front of your eyes, and by the end of the match, you're gonna see why you're getting jealous of me. You're gonna see why you're upset with the way I'm working, with the way I'm doing things. It's because I'm not sitting here trying to hold myself back. I'm wanting to push forward. I'm hungry for it. I'm very hungry for it. I want. If they want to be as hungry as I am, by all means, sit there and get that hungry and see how far it takes you. But I mean, if you want to take the shortcuts, by all means, take the shortcuts. But eventually, there's not enough cuts to take. There's no shortcuts to take anymore. Eventually, you hit one point where you're gonna have to go down a long road of nothing but bumps and potholes. So take as many shortcuts as you want, but one way or another, you're going to end up on the same road I am. Where you're going to have to hit every pothole, hit every curve, hit every hurdle that might be placed in there. You're just going to have to hit it one way or another.
Absolutely. Blade, we appreciate you joining us tonight for the last few minutes. Let's get to know Blade Gibson a little bit away from the ring and on a personal side there. And something I've asked everyone that's been on this show, except for Joseph. I haven't asked him yet, but I will eventually. But are there any superstitions or rituals you got to do before you go to the ring?
No, there isn't anything special like that. So the way I try to go about things is that I believe I'm not trying to put my religion on anybody else's. My personal religion is that I believe in God, but I kind of believe with whatever I try to think. Like if I'm trying to think and talk to him that way, I know he can hear what I'm saying. So before I go out during a match, I'll always ask him to look over me and stuff. But I'll also sit there and take the time to think about my dad and how he would see what I'm doing right now. Like how would he react to all the work, all the trial and error I've had to go through to get to this point. So I guess the only thing I really do before I go out through a match is just thank God that I'm here. I'm gonna thank God when I come back from the ring, and I'm gonna keep making my dad proud the following week when I come back again. The following time I come back into another ring, whether it's at SOM, APW, beside the ring, any of the promotions I work for, a new promotion that picks me up. Regardless, I'm going to sit there and keep improving and keep making my dad proud.
Absolutely. And everybody says they don't have something, but then when they get to thinking about it, oh yeah, I do kind of do this or I do kind of do that. So, but um, as far as away from the ring and everything, what type of music do you like to listen to, and what is your entrance music?
So if I were to show you my playlist, it's literally just a genre of like every single kind of thing you could think about, like old rock, uh, heavy metal, rap, surprisingly country rap, country. Just like it's a mixture of things. But if I had to go off a genre that I'm like most attached to, I'd probably say rap rock. I think is how you. It's either rock rap or rap rock. but it's that genre just for the fact of like my favorite rap band is Hollywood Undead. So that's kind of where my what genre they are. That's the genre I kind of stick with the most.
And as far as your entrance music,
What do you mean? But I need clarification on what you mean by that. I'm not familiar with that.
He
as
has
far
that
as
salsa. Did you know he dances with that salsa? No, not
Look,
you.
when you walk to the ring, what music is playing, or what do you want to be played?
So at SOM they just have a like like a little rock music. It's rock music at SOM, but elsewhere I get it's mainly rock. It's mainly rock. Because when I'm wrestling elsewhere and I can use copywritten music, I typically come out to "Light Up the Sky" by TFK, which is probably more so my actual favorite band. They're Christian rock. I actually just bought a shirt that literally has the lyrics to that song on it too.
Cool. The last question I'll ask you is, I know most of our people that's in the wrestling goes to the Waffle House afterwards. If you go to the Waffle House, what's the item that you like to eat afterwards?
Typically, it's between a steak. Typically, it's either just a T-bone steak or it's a waffle, bacon, and toast.
Cool.
Those are typically my two go betweens.
Nice. Joseph, you got any closing questions before we let this young man go?
Well, Mr. Gibson, I have one thing particular to say, and I was threatened today to say this to you, and that is, let it shine, sir.
You did not just say that.
I did.
So my rebuttal to that one word is I will let it shine. I'll let the SOM title shine when it's around my waist. I promise you, I will let it shine when it's around my waist.
Fair enough, Mr. Gibson. Fair enough.
Awesome. Awesome. When you get the title, if you will do me a favor, don't put it over. It's a belt. Don't wear it over your shoulder. Put it around your waist and wear it like a belt. That's the one thing I cannot stand wrestlers doing today is putting the belt on their shoulder. It's not a shoulder harness or a strap. It's a belt. You put it on and wear it like a champion.
The only
How
issue
you sound
is
like you're a little beltist here.
I am.
The only issue is not every title that I'm going to pick up is going to be able to stay around me because of my size. So I don't sit here and come out holding it like Cody Rhodes does most of the time. I'll sit there and have it like Matt Riddle, to where he has it like the title around here. That's the way I'll sit there and carry out the title most of the time. I don't like the idea of just carrying out the title. I like having it around me in some way.
He doesn't like it to be a hula hoop. Let's just say it like that.
If that's how you want to look at it, then sure.
It's one of those things that when you have it and the wrestlers have it on their shoulder and you're looking at it, you're having to look at it like this to read what it says. It's hard, I know everybody knows what it says anyway, but still, it needs to be displayed where you can see it straight.
It's all about presentation. It's presentation of the title.
Right.
So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Absolutely. Blake, before we let you go, I got two quick questions for you. One, do you have any merchandise that you want to put out there to plug to let everybody know where to get it at?
I do not at the moment. I don't have any links or anything to where it can be shipped out. Currently, I will be honest. Personally, I'm kind of in a money bind to trying to buy my shirts and stuff again, but eventually I'll get that sorted out. I'm in the process of trying to get new gear at the moment, so hopefully by this year's Paul Morton Cup, I'll have that in and being able to debut that. But at the moment, no, there is no current gear site. Not gear site, website that we can get merchandise from me.
once you make that happen, let us know. We'll post it everywhere and let people know where they can get it at.
Both
And
of
then,
us. Wrestle Talk with the
yeah,
Rad Beaver will do it too.
yeah. And then the last thing we'll let you go is give a shout out to anybody you want to on here.
So, sweet. So let's go off the. I'm kidding. I'm not going to give you guys. I was like, let's just start going off the list. Obviously, the first shout. I'm just going to try to keep it to a bare minimum of 5. So I'm just going to give a quick shout out to my family. The second shout out would probably be to the wrestling group that I've since being in the business I've been able to evolve with, which is people like Josh Anderson, who's my cousin, Christian Lee, who is a friend I graduated from high school with, and a guy who currently at the moment doesn't really know if he's capable of staying in the ring or not right now is Aaron Adams. But I want to give a shout out to them. I definitely want to give a shout out to the 3. I want to give a shout out to SOM management. More so James Strange, because he's the one that's given me the opportunity to come and stay at SOM. So without him, I wouldn't have been able to find all this confidence that I needed in myself. So I'm definitely giving a shout out to him. The 4th one would be to all the promoters that sit here and book me. So that's a long list of people. They know who they are. I just want to give a shout out to the promoters that sit there and book me. And then the last one would definitely be all the fans that sit here and have supported me since the very first day I started, or from whenever they met me. I appreciate the support, even if the some that are out there that boo me, and I can see that they're doing it just to see if I show a reaction to it. Because if I look over at them, they'll sit there and smile after they did it. So the major last one would definitely have to be the fans. Without the fans, I would not be where I'm at. I would not have the confidence in myself like I do. So from the entirety of my heart, I really want to thank the fans for everything you guys have done for me. Without you guys, I would not have found my true purpose in life.
One last thing, Blade, before we let you go.
You say another Michael Gabriel thing, I swear.
No.
I swear.
No, but if somebody's out here wanting to book you, a promoter's out here watching this that wants to book you, how could they do so, sir?
You can find me on Facebook at Blade Gibson. You can find me at Instagram at Blade_Gibson. And you can also reach me out by Gmail by BladeGibson960@gmail.com.
Excellent.
Awesome. And then the very last thing, and I'll let you go, is can we expect to see you back on here anytime soon?
Yeah, of course. The next time I try coming back onto your guys' podcast will hopefully be when the SOM title is around my waist. But
that's awesome.
If before that I'm more than welcome to be back on here. But that's the word I want to give to you guys, is that I will, next time I am on here, hopefully I am here with the SOM championship.
Awesome. Great.
Where can the fans expect to see you here recently?
So this Sunday we have Mayhem tapings. Next Saturday I'm at Happy Valley High School in Elizabethton, Tennessee. March 15th, I'm here in my hometown for WASP Championship Wrestling. I believe March 16th is the following Mayhem taping. And then March 29th, I'll be in Hope Mills, North Carolina. And then back to the 30th, I'll be finishing out March with another Mayhem taping. I think I have those dates right. But at least I'm talking Mayhem anyways. All the other dates I know are right. Just I'm just trying to remember how it's spaced out. But that's where you can find me this month in March. This coming month of March. We're still in February.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Gibson. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys letting me on here.
Hey, no problem. So for Joseph Hughes, our special guest, Blade Gibson, I'm the Howard Chaney. Good night. God bless everybody.
Good night, guys.
Peace.